Unit 1, Exercise 1. Post an invoice. You have received 2 invoices from this supplier. Enter 1 invoice with the Create Supplier Invoice app and 1 invoice with the Create Supplier Invoice Advanced app. Okay. Task 1. Enter an invoice using Create Supplier Invoice app. So here we have the 2 Create Supplier Invoice and Create Supplier Advanced. Okay, enter this invoice for the company code 1010. So, company code 1010, the amount, reference, the date, and the purchase order, which is this one. Okay, we are going to check the error messages. So here we see 4 items and we only need 2. So first we have the slug for spiral casing and the packing gasket. So this is no longer used. We have here a balance to check. Now it's okay. Enter the header data and the purchase order number. Okay. In the invoice list item, the system proposes some item with quantity and amount. Check whether the proposed value agree with the invoice and display the purchase order history for the individual item. Okay. Why does the system only propose the first and the third PO item for settlement in the item list? So here we can click on the purchasing reference to see what happened in the purchase order. So we are going to check this one, post 20. In the item we have the processing flow, and we can see that we have a purchase order, a good receipt, and this item is already in another supplier invoice. That's why here we have 0 in amount and 0 in quantity. And for the other one, item 40 in the same invoice, okay. Here we can see that we have a purchase order and a good receipt for 20 pieces, but still not received the invoice for this item. Okay, we can check directly in the purchase order from here, otherwise here in the history, in the view, ordered 100, received 100, and in already invoiced 100. And for this one, ordered 100, received 20, not invoiced for the moment. Okay. So 3, simulate the posting that takes place and filling the table. So we are going to simulate. And here we can see that we have the supplier account, the good receipt invoice receipt for the item 10, for the item 30, and the input taxes. Okay. Post the document and not the invoiced number. Okay. Do you want to create a new supplier invoice? No. Task 2. Enter an invoice using Create Supplier Invoice Advanced app. You have received a second invoice from the supplier. Enter this invoice for company code 1010. Okay. This is another invoice because the reference is different, 001. Okay, and the same items. So create supplier invoice advanced. Date. Okay, and okay, we have a balance not okay. We are going to enter this quantity and this amount. 100 here. And in the third, 100 pieces, 2000. Okay. The balance is okay, but we have a warning here. It says correct but blocked. And this is because we have already entered an invoice for these two items. So enter the basic data and the purchase order number. Okay. The layout is okay. Here we can see it. All information. In the invoice item list, the system proposed some item with quantity and amount. Check whether the proposed value agree with the invoice 0001 and display the PO structure to analyze the PO history for the individual item. That's what we did in the previous exercise. Why does the system only propose the first and the third item for settlement in the item list? Okay, I on purpose selected the first and the third item to check with the new invoice. Okay, simulate the posting that take place and filling this table. So here is the button simulate. Again, we have the same information. We have here the account of the supplier, the good received and invoice received for the item 10 and 30, and the input tax. Post the document and not the invoice number. Okay, so we can post. Invoice document was posted and blocked for payment. This is normal because we have two invoices for the same purchase order. Okay, and the last task, change the user parameters. Okay, for processing this task, log on the backend system. And here we have the backend system. And we can see in the system user profile and user data. In the parameters, you are responsible only for the company 1010 in the invoice verification. Therefore, define the company code 1010 in your user parameters. So here, I already did it. The parameter is named buck and the value is the company code 1010. Ensure also the parameters invoice amount adjust and invoice display are active in your user. They are here for the adjust amount and here for the display. Voila!